Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So we are back again. We got news. President Lukashenko of Belarus has won re-election. No surprise. Was he going to win re-election? And no scenario would he not win re-election. If we can see in clarifications here, it says President Belarus set to extend 30-year rule as critics slam sham election. This is from CNN. Lukashenko wins sham election in Belarus with 87.6% of the vote. Belarus strongman set to win a seventh term in an election. In an election, the opposition calls a farce. That's right. He's been in there for 7 terms. And you'll see throughout his term and his regime in Belarus, you'll see 81% in 2020, 84% in 2015. You got 2010, he wins 80%, 84% in 2006. You'll see, oh yeah, he looks even younger now. 2001, you'll see he wins by just 77%. So he's getting more and more popular. 1994, you'll see it is when it was the very first election in Belarus. And is he the first president of Belarus? I don't know. Yes, he is the first and only president of Belarus. So the first and only president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, has won re-election to a 7th term. He's been in there for almost 3 decades. He's been in longer than Putin, and we gotta understand Alexander Lukashenko. Obviously, there's nothing really much to talk about other than that this dictator, this authoritarian dictator, has won re-election, which most likely was very much rigged. We need background, though. 5 years ago, 2020, I remember this, due to the opposition. So this was the 2020 election, and it was during this time Alexander Lukashenko, he was very concerned about his power. He was very concerned about, okay, will there be a coup? Because there's something that there has been a lot of opposition in Belarus rising against Alexander Lukashenko's regime, and ultimately, with the result there being I'm trying to think here. You got his original opponent. So, yes, he had someone originally challenging him, and that was, let's see. His original opponent was thrown into jail, ordered by Lukashenko. Who was that opponent? It was this woman's husband, his spouse, Sergei Tishkanovsky. He is a YouTuber from Belarus. He challenged Lukashenko in his 2020 election bid. But for some reason, Sergei didn't really break any law. He was just so vocal against the regime that he was thrown into prison. And obviously, he couldn't run for re-election. His channel is right here. You can feel free to subscribe to him. He uploads, I want to believe, anti-Lukashenko content. As you can clearly see, he's applauding Donald Trump against Putin and Lukashenko. So obviously very pro-USA. And obviously he does not think of Donald Trump as a Putin lover like the left-wing American propaganda likes to make it think. This is obviously a fake MSNBC narrative that they have created. But yeah, subscribe to this guy. He's Russian. He obviously, a lot of our English speakers are unable to understand him. I don't understand him unless you know Belarusian/Russian. But I do, of course, admire in regards to Mr. Sergei. He is absolutely he obviously launched his YouTube after his election. After he was thrown into jail. He is released now, probably due to diplomatic pressure by NATO. Ultimately, his wife, Slavatnya, whatever her name is, she ran in his husband's place. She and Alexander Lukashenko was willing to break the law. That woman, obviously, Lukashenko said that woman shouldn't be allowed to run in these said elections. Women are unqualified to be leaders and presidents and all that stuff. But he was willing to let her run just to make her ultimately ruin her own career, make a fool out of herself. And obviously, did I think she make a fool out of herself? No, I think she took a very brave and strong stand. But from Lukashenko's advice and beliefs, this is what Savetina, whatever her name is, was trying to make. Ultimately, she lost, but she did get a respectable 10%. Ultimately, the opposition, guess what? She is an election denier. For some reason, people like Savetina, or whatever her name is, it's okay for her to denounce the election results because, obviously, Belarus is a dictatorship. I'm not saying Belarus is the election was free and fair. Not at all. Belarus and Lukashenko, every single election has stolen the election. Same deal with Maduro's Venezuela, known for these election fraud. Obviously, the conservative movement in the United States are saying, yeah, the election fraud can happen in the United States. It can happen in the free world. So what happened to Slovenia afterwards? She was thrown out of the country. She was thrown out of the country, and she was sent in exile to the opposing country of Lithuania. In fact, Lithuania, right next to, right here, Belarus, is the only country to recognize this lady right here as the actual president, denouncing Lukashenko and not as a failed leader, and obviously unqualified. She, ever since then, has created a new movement after the aftermath of the 2020 Belarusian presidential protests, which resulted to a new creation, the Coordination Council in Belarus, the Red, White, Red Banner movement. The Red, White Banner movement. Red, White... I'm trying to figure out. It was something sort of like that. They might have changed their name. I'm not really surprised that I can't find it. Okay, Belarusian Democracy Movement. Yes, here it is. It's also known as the White Red White Banner Movement, which this is the former flag of Belarus, which they fly in opposition to Lukashenko. Is actually their current flag. This flag right here, the green-red banner flag that was created. It's known as the banner of Lukashenko. It's the banner of the Lukashenko regime that represents Lukashenko and his administration. This never used to be the flag. It was the early 2000s when Lukashenko took office, late 90s when Lukashenko took over, that this flag was created. This is the banner recognizing his regime. But a lot of people, even a lot of Russians, see the actual banner of Belarus to be the white, red, white banner movement, or the white, red, white. The white banner with a red stripe going across. That is historically been always labeled the flag of Belarus, even during the Russian Civil War. When Belarus separated from the Russian Empire, they first flew this flag. This flag was the long historic flag of Belarus. It's obviously this. It has represented Belarus for years. I want to see the white and red flag of the Belarusian People's Republic, which obviously this is the Russian Civil War era of Belarus, which lasted from 1918 to 1919. This was the first time they flew that flag after World War I. Obviously, with the creation of the Soviet Union, the flag was taken down, and obviously, what succeeded the flag was the socialist Belarus. Obviously, they threw a territory in exile, but ultimately there was the Belarus SFSR, which took over. So you got a little history there. So she creates this pro-democracy movement. It's basically Belarus in exile. The capital is the capital of Lithuania. Vilnius. That's where the capital is, and it's said that in the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the pro-democracy movement in Belarus are even fighting alongside the Ukrainians in the said Russo-Ukrainian war. You'll see Belarus supporting the Russian side, not necessarily the Ukrainian, not necessarily involved, but the white banner movement is volunteer wise alongside their Ukrainian allies. But you got a little history there. However, Lukashenko reelected today. He is going to win at least 87% of the popular vote. He's defeating Sergei Saronkov. I want to believe, yeah. Okay, yes, he's a communist. So first secretary of the Communist Party. Now, who would I vote for? I will say none of the above. Belarus is not my business, guys, and neither is our channel have any involved in this sort of situation with Belarus. We don't support Lukashenko. We don't support Sergei. None. And I can guarantee you it would be bad for the United States if Sergei got elected. Last thing we need is a communist Belarus. But is Belarus already? Isn't Belarus a communist country already? Well, yes and no. We got to figure out the. We got to understand that obviously the ideology of Alexander Lukashenko is very complicated. It's complicated, and it's hard to understand and get an indication of. So Alexander Lukashenko is aligned with both communists and the far right. Both communists, socialists, leftists, and the right wing of Belarus admire this guy. But there are others, like Sergei Saronkov, who don't like Lukashenko. That he's just too cozy with the right wing of things. Alexander Lukashenko, it's hard to actually indicate, is he a right-wing dictator? Is he a left-wing dictator? None of the above, in my opinion. In our channel, we kind of left to recognize him as a left-wing dictator. As you'll see, left-wing, Belarus. Why? That Sovietism, you'll see, Kyrgyzstan is also a left wing. We also have it left wing. I have a feeling it's going to go right wing this year. Okay, let's get rid of this garbage. Okay, there we go. I have a feeling that it's going to be right wing this year. I think if that happens, it's just a secular post-Sovietism in the said country. That's like, yeah, I think it's more left wing. Especially when the left wing is actually more vocal compared to the right wing. Lukashenko is more cozy with the Soviet era sort of leadership when it comes to that. Reason why we have Russia as right wing, Putin has always been a right wing sort of person that's kind of distanced himself, was very critical to the former Soviet policies. And Lukashenko and Putin, they're very different. Very different ideologically. Oh, what? What are you talking about? Well, ideologically, yeah, they're against Nazis. They're against fascists. Yeah, they grew up under that. Obviously, duh. Everyone in Russia and Belarus has to be against fascists. But when it comes to the former Soviet Union, the two have different disagreements. I think Lukashenko, there's a lot he disagrees with the Soviet Union, but he does wear Sovietism as it is an identity to him. Putin, Sovietism is kind of different than communism. Very different. Sovietism is celebrating Soviet heritage, but they don't believe in the communism. They don't believe in the socialism of it. They just believe in the former Soviet Union and just put the politics of communism, socialism, kind of rule with this more of a Putinist this current Russian Federation sort of style. But obviously, the theory, you'll see even right-wing dictators, there's a page, right-wing dictatorship. You'll see there are many different right-wing dictatorships. Alexander Lukashenko is labeled as a right-wing dictator. But is he really right-wing? It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, he kind of is in some point, and I'm willing to challenge this narrative because the post-Soviet era has really died down. Let's see. Alexander Lukashenko, and that's just it. That's just it. Lukashenko does have right-wing beliefs. He endorsed Donald Trump, and that doesn't mean, oh, Donald Trump, you're so bad, you got Lukashenko. Well, yeah, Putin endorsed Kamala Harris, so? You got these crazy people around the world endorsing you left and right. I mean, take a pill. Like, seriously. Yeah, Lukashenko endorsed Trump twice. He endorsed, I think, 3 times, honestly. He's a big Trump believer. But then again, Storyanglo from Slovakia, he's a left-wing prime minister. He endorsed Trump. He was a strong Trump ally. So just because you have a politician, a president, that endorsed you doesn't mean that this guy suddenly agrees with everything that Trump. And in fact, Trump sanctioned Belarus hundreds of times. So many times. But Lukashenko's like, oh, okay. Maybe he doesn't necessarily like that he's getting sanctioned by Trump, but he knows how tyrannical Biden and Harris are. But let's see if there's any keywords. I have a feeling... Okay. So it says here, first term, a new Belarusian constitution enacted in early 1994 paved the way for the first democratic presidential election on the 23rd of June and the 10th of July. So this is the rise of Lukashenko. 6 candidates stood in the first round, including Lukashenko, who campaigned as an independent on a populist platform. In an interview with the New York Times, he declared, quote, I am neither with the leftists or the rightists, but the people against those who rob and deceive them. Stanislav Sokievich and Vyacheslav Kibich also ran, with the later regarded as the clear favorite. Lukashenko won 45.1% of the popular vote, while Kibich received 17.4%. Zianon Pazanak received 12.9%, and Shushkevich, along with 2 other candidates, received less than 10% of the popular 10% of votes. So, yeah, obviously I agree. Lukashenko is not like Mr. Beast. I'm not Mr. Beast. Mr. Beat, who literally lies to you that, oh, I'm a centrist, and he turns out to be really progressive. If you guys know the Mr. Beat story, Mr. Beat, woke Mr. Beat, he goes and says, oh, I'm pretty conservative, I'm a left, I'm a centrist, and then he goes and posts progressive ads trying to get you to support Kamala Harris. Okay, yeah. You literally lie. Okay, I'll give Lukashenko some credit, but is he a conservative? Is he more of a left? I think he's more of a moderate, but obviously a very authoritarian moderate. But honestly, I'm going to make the argument that Lukashenko is right-wing. Why? First off, the communist faction are dying away from him. Lukashenko has made a lot of... He has given the Nazis benefit of the doubt, which really got the Soviets, the pro-Soviet mob, really angry with him. This could be a reason why he doesn't really have much communist support anymore. He was fascinated with Hitler's rhetoric on race and identity, obviously, and that made him unpopular on leftist groups. And then again, this is the reason why he is very popular and praised among right-wing groups. Under his regime, Belarus has enacted right-wing social policies. Like, for an instance, I believe abortion is illegal in Belarus. So abortion in Belarus. I know gay marriage is illegal in Belarus. Okay, it's legal. The current abortion legislation dates, it's more restrictive, and it's one of the most liberal abortion laws in Europe. Okay, actually, no, I'm wrong. It's actually pretty liberal. Abortion is allowed on request up to 12 weeks, and in specific circumstances on a variety of grounds until 28 weeks. So, yes, I would say it's... Then again, I would say in abortion, sure. I mean, Nazi Germany did abortion. Nazi Germany worked with Margaret Sanger to literally help spread abortion into the South. So that doesn't make you less right-wing than what you actually are. So I would say, yeah, Lukashenko, he's a moderate, but I'm going to say right now we have enough proof to say Belarus is more conservative. Okay, so you got some people, let me know if you agree with me, but obviously Lukashenko wins. 85% of the turnout, no surprise. I mean, I'm having a hard time believing that 85% are going to rush to the polls to elect Lukashenko, who's going to win regardless. So it's kind of hard. And then again, you have countries like Belgium that you have to vote by law. But what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.